inflation had eaten up that minimum wage. Now, I said I would tie it to another story. Now, here is the story that I want to tie it to, and this is really very important to me, and I'm sure it should be important to you as well. FG to disburse $800 million to 50 million Nigerians as palliative for petrol subsidy removal. I hope you know that the petrol subsidy removal will also impugn on the minimum wage, on the purchasing power of Nigerians. Now, the cable newspaper, this is a bit of analysis here. So if you're going to disburse $800 million to 50 million Nigerians as palliative for petrol subsidy removal, it means $800 million divided by 50 million Nigerians. That gives you $16 per person. And so, let's look at exchange rate. If we use the street exchange rate as parallel market, it's about 740 naira to $1. That means you are given 40 naira to mean naira by 16. That gives us 7,360 naira to each person. Here's a graphic, you can see it. If you look at our Facebook, I will probably put it there for you. But here is this graphic. I'm sure my gentlemen of the press can see what I'm talking about. And so, what is going to help the purchasing power of the poor if this is going to be our reality? Or do you think it's an exaggerated reality? Are you ready for the removal of subsidy, on the fuel? I want to talk about it, and I want you to join me. On the program this evening, I have Michael Olatubosun joining us on the program. Hello, Michael.
Good evening to you, Sho. Good evening to Goki, and good evening to our listeners. It's always a good time to talk Nigeria. I feel your pain, actually.
Okay. All right. So, my pain is in my voice.
We need to get that.
So, we will look at these issues together and see how we come across the solution, because that's a leading thought of this program. I'm talking about finding solution to these issues. So, Goke is here. Arakone Goke. Hello.
Good evening, Sheon. Good evening, Michael. It's nice to be here once again.
We're glad to have you join us.
And of course, I feel the pains of your life.
Okay. When you will call it my pain, I don't know. It is a pain for me.
I just told you that we are in it together.
All right. So let's look at the issues, and we will be able to look at it critically. So, Michael, I'll start from you. When we talk about this issue, people think that we're just probably bandying figures around. What do you think? That report says that over 40% of the minimum wage has been eroded in the last 2-3 years.
Yeah.
I'm not very good at mathematics or arithmetic. I love to count money.
Yeah.
But you say 40% of 33,000 naira. That's taking about 13,000 naira out of 33,000 naira. You probably have like 20,000 naira left.
Yeah.
If I'm correct, that's approximately. Mm-hmm. So if we add subsidy that will be removed to this current minimum wage, what are we left with?
You're left with nothing, essentially. That's what it means, because the minimum wage will also take, by the way, as at February, our inflation was 21.9%. So you can imagine that by June, when the subsidy is removed finally, hopefully, it would basically leave you with minus zero, minus something. That's basically what it means, because it's not as if we were not expecting these things to happen. It's just that we were unthinking enough to not know that we need to do what we ought to do. So you're saying that 40% of the average minimum wage earner would go to inflation, and the rest of it
has gone
to inflation. It means that you are probably going to double the impact of the inflation on the average minimum wage earner. Reason is that the moment, and don't forget that we're talking about petrol here. Once the price of petrol goes up, every other thing goes up, including school fees,
including
house rent. Even though the house had been built since 1970, the rent will go up because the landlord will say building materials, as if they are building new apartments. Everything basically will go up. Even airtime will go up. Okay, but maybe when we get to the other matter that you raised, we'll come to that.
But so look at it this way. Inflation is eating deep into our income, our purchasing power. And we raise the issue of subsidy. Michael, before I come to Benga, what did we remove in 2016?
Oh, did we remove anything in 2016?
That jacked the price of the petrol pump price to the price that we had.
Did we remove anything in 2016? Because I remember that when it was still Major General Muhammadu Buhari was saying that subsidy is a fraud. Anybody who says that is removing subsidy is fraudulent and all that. So I was wondering, did he remove subsidy or did they, whatever they called it? Okay, so they called it under recovery. Maybe that's a safer word to use in order to cover our negligence as people and as government, essentially. So we are essentially having people who don't think in government perpetually. I always say it, and it looks like an indictment on even us as the media. You have a set of people who basically don't think through policies before they implement them. Okay, so what was the essence of the promises that this administration made in 2014 built up to the 2015 election? One refinery every year. We have not been able to even bring to life the refineries that we have. You have 2 in Port Harcourt, you have 1 in Warri, you have 1 in Kaduna. They have produced next to nothing in the last 8 years, and we are still paying over 10 billion naira every month to fund emptiness. Okay. You see, we are just joking, basically. And this is what I want to say. I always say it again. Everything I say will come back to the citizens. It is because citizens don't ask questions.
Okay, I'll take you up on that. I don't know what question you want us to ask. Anyway, Goke is actually here. Hello, Goke.
Thank you very much, Shehu. Thank you very much, Micah.
Now, makes sense of it for me. When citizens' purchasing power is being eroded, what are they left with? Isn't that misery? And do we even think about how they will manage such a situation? Should government be inflicting pain? I don't know. I'm asking the right question.
I don't know. You see, I think you're even talking about a particular segment of people that probably, I hope you know, that as it is now, according to the newspapers and the rest that we have, as at February 2023, 15 states have not yet implemented this same 33,000 that we are even using as our benchmark of the analysis. So we have states like Abia, Bayelsa, Delta, Enugu, Niger, Imo, Benue, Taraba, and the rest of them, Zamfara included, that have not even implemented the 33,000.
So Toby Ajewale is leading credence to that on Facebook. He said, meanwhile, there are some folks who don't receive the 30,000 minimum wage. A good example is on telcos. I used to work with the red-colored telco, and I was paid around 10K as of January this year.
Whoa. Wow.
So with 10,000 naira, somebody would sit down, and then you want to count your cost of transportation to work. You want to count your cost of the fact that you have to eat when you go to work. And guess what? This person that's talking is most likely going to be a family man, paying school fees and the rest. I think the right conversations that we must, start to ask, like Michael rightly said, is how exactly have we managed the economy? That more often we find out that the consumer, price are always going up, and then people do not even have the power to purchase them.
It's because you don't produce anything, do you?
We don't produce, and the little that we are even producing, the environment is not so conducive for them to be prosperous. And away from that, it's funny that despite the hardship that we have on ground, you asked a particular question that is this particular report that you mentioned, is it exaggerating? I think this report is not even doing enough justice to it. Because as it states now, probably this report did not even take into consideration the 15 states that have not even, implemented the minimum wage. And again, we've not even talked about, the economic trouble of other people who do not even have a means. Let's look at our unemployment rate. Like Michael said, because we do not want to really just sit down and talk about our problem without a way of moving forward. What exactly are we producing? When they say we are doing, a support for small scale business, what kind of support? Is it the same trader money of 2,000 naira or 5,000 naira? And then we'll go in and, give people cash. Is it the kind of empowerment that we say we are doing at the moment? And now, we are not even ready for the conversation of subsidy. Because you mentioned that in 2016, what exactly did we remove? We know the fraud that is going on when it concerns, subsidy. And as it is now, sooner or later, it's already in the Constitution, there is provision for it that they will remove the subsidy. So how exactly is the common man going to afford it? So that means a lot of people most likely may be rendered, unemployed again. A lot of people that cannot afford certain means will be pushed down below the poverty line again. And the funny thing is, in all of this, I can ask Michael that if you sit down and calculate how much you've been spending on transportation every day, you find out that over the time, you cannot even sit down and say, this is the correct amount that I'm spending. Because if you go this morning, it can be 300. When you are going back, it can be 400, 500.
Particularly in the rainy season.
You don't want to talk about rainy season.
All right, so thank you. The NBS, Nigeria Bureau of Statistics, says 63% of persons living within Nigeria, that was November 17, 2022. That was about 133 million people are multi-dimensionally poor. The national MPR is 0.257, indicating that poor people in Nigeria experience just over 1/4 of all possible deprivation. All right, so Tunde Onokoya just joined us. Hello, Tunde.
Good evening to you, Oluwaseun.
How are you doing?
I'm very well, thank you, the gentlemen. Michael and okay, good evening to you too, and our listeners at home.
Yeah,
thank
good
you
to
very
have
much.
you.
Yes.
We are live on Facebook, so you can join us and have a wonderful time with us. So Tunde, what will we gain pushing people down the precipice of poverty with all of these things coming at us? Price index shooting up, consumer price index, I meant, and inflation galloping. We're also going to experience another spike in inflation when we remove fuel subsidy. And the government, so I want us to go into this idea, and government says, I'm looking at the cable newspaper, and the story says, federal government says it has secured the sum of $800 million from the World Bank as part of its post-subsidy palliative plans. Look at the word palliative. Why do we only plan for palliative and not a sustainable solution to our problem? So let me down it. Ahmed said the 800 million naira received from the World Bank will be dispersed to the 10 million households considered to be most vulnerable to cushion the effect of the subsidy removal. So only those people are going to suffer the consequence of fuel subsidy.
Well, you see, trusts Nigerians to always do the right thing after they have tried everything else. We tend to have this brick-bat approach to everything. Just hit it however. When it lands, we decide what to do with it. Because if the World Bank is giving us this as our first tranche, $800 million, I guess, that's a good amount of money. It's almost $1 billion. What are those sustainable things that can be done with this money that will affect the lives of not just those 10 million people, but people around that corridor that it is used for?
We want to...
If we are looking at mass transportation system that is subsidized, we are talking. If we are looking at subsidized or accessible opportunity to cook, like cooking gas to almost all the households in Nigeria. It is something. You know, I was also looking at a report which I was talking about before I got in here, which is by Knight Frank Wealth Sizing Model, where they are talking about what you need in wealth to be part of 0.1% in your country. The 0.1% is the big 0.1%, the richest. And what is required in Nigeria? What is required in Nigeria is just $250,000. You have that, you're in the 0.1% wealth status of this country. If you are worth that in assets, $250,000, that's all. And you have some countries such as Singapore being $10 million before you can be in 0.1%. And you have some other countries, $25.1 million.
That means Nigeria is very poor.
You know, I keep saying these things. I don't know. Maybe I'm the only person that keeps making this noise, that Nigeria and Nigerians are extremely poor. We do not have money. We can't afford most things. We can't afford most basic things. It is poverty that makes us sink boreholes in our houses. You need to understand. You may think that sinking a borehole is a sign of wealth. It's a sign of poverty.
Yeah, exactly.
It's because you are, right now, when you're sinking a borehole, you are actually paying for an access to something that you should have periodic access to and pay periodically for. Why are you investing 1.5 million naira, 2 million to sink a borehole when you can pay your monthly water bill of 10,000-20,000 naira and divert that money into doing something else?
Today you are going to something that is very, very
security.
So when we are having this conversation about what are we supposed to do with the money, aren't those things pretty obvious?
It's handouts. What we want to do is handouts.
That's what I'm saying. I said that's what we want to do, but that's not what we are supposed to do, because see, we are not low on ideas of the right things to do. We just do not have the will to do the right thing.
So this government, for 8 years, the most important part of their intervention
is to throw money at
hands out.
Hands out, yes. Which does not in any way solve any problem for any of us.
But they know how to throw figures. Let me just drop this figure for you. Last year, Zainab Ahmed said, following a 3.35 trillion petrol subsidy budget, the federal government said it will stop under-recovery payment in June 2023. In 2022, subsidy or under-recovery cost the government the sum of 3.3 trillion naira in 11 months alone.
Yes.
So if this is the situation, the solution for us is to just get money, put in an envelope, and hand over to 10 million households. Which is 50 million people.
Now, the thing about it is that you see that money, maybe we'll go out in 5 or 10,000 naira. Cannot feed that family.
So it's 11,000 naira.
It's 11,000 naira.
If you
go to black market, it's 11,840 naira.
Yes.
So, and you know what? That can't feed that household for a month. So it means
1 month or 1 week.
The thing is, you're not even solving any of their problems. In fact, you know what you are doing? You are stopping those that want to assist them from assisting them when they start getting that money.
Because people will now say, Shebi, you don't get
government money.
The people that have been receiving the palliative, where are they?
Because I have not met anybody.
I've not met any of them.
Michael has done some work.
Michael, have you met any?
Anybody
has received government palliative?
Look at this.
I've been told that I will meet.
You have been told that you will meet. When? Because if 10 million, see, let's be realistic. If 10 million people in Nigeria are getting this money,
it's 10 million households.
That tells you 50 million people.
So let's say 10 million households are getting this money. We will assume that we have 36 plus one state, right? That's 37. There would at least be in one state. In each state, there would at least be 10,000 people.
Yes.
10,000 in one state.
Yeah.
If a state is dominated by 500 cities, we're expecting to find at least 200 in each city or 20 in a worst case scenario.
Okay. So
if we have 20 people in this Ibadan or 200 people in this Ibadan receiving this palliative, we still don't know them, we still haven't met them.
The issue will now even be those people receiving this money. So if they have received, basically they will receive it official rate. So when they receive 7,360 naira,
yes,
and the man is living in Ojo,
yes,
and he has to come to Felele to work,
yes,
that.
Why is he coming to Felele to work? How can't he work where he lives?
So the man is living in Ojo.
No, but it's assumed that those people don't have jobs. They don't have anything. So the 7 something for them to just sit down.
The man who doesn't have jobs will cook, right?
Yes.
So basically, he will not be able to buy gas really. because gas is 700.
No.
He has no business buying gas.
Okay, so
if you buy firewood now,
you buy kerosene, right?
yes.
You can't buy now.
This money can buy.
Michael, let's do a simple analysis. Let's assume it's a household of 2 parents and 2 children.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Now there can't be 2 parents and 2 children because we know what poverty does to procreation.
Yeah.
Poverty accelerates procreation.
Exactly.
Okay. So the father is expected to be in the house all day because there's nothing. The mother is also expected to be in the house because, of course, there's nothing. The kids are not going to school.
Yeah, they're on the streets.
They are going to free government schools.
Okay.
But you know they can't have uniforms. Because they are so poor, they can't have uniforms, they can't have bags, they can't have anything. So the father and the mother and the children, when the children are gone to school in the morning, the father and the mother are expected to continue procreating.
They are creative. They are going to be creative.
Like rugrats.
Like rugrats.
Let's
Creatively procreating.
So what is 7K going to do to them? We'll make sure they are fed well enough to at least procreate.
So it tells you that even the Bretton Woods institutions that are giving us these things, it looks like they are playing hypocrisy card, really. Because is that the advice they are giving to other countries, really?
to European countries?
Yeah, because in some European countries, as well as we have a friend who told us that a bus ticket for a whole 1 year is 360 euros.
Yes.
For 1 whole year.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
But you see, the point is that don't multiply it.
Compare that to how much is going to buy gas.
So you get what we're saying
in that country.
So if they remove subsidy and they remove it times 10 in those places, there won't be any noise because you just step out of your house, step into a bus, pay €1 for the whole day, and that will be it.
All right. So
I don't know why Michael is talking in euro.
Sorry.
Okay. Our colleague was talking about Naira the other time. We're talking about value. KPMG Nigeria says Naira may continue to depreciate amid decline in foreign capital inflows. And you said that we have not managed our economy properly. Yeah. That's one major issue. Now, KPMG said that Naira faces risk of further depreciation in 2023 due to the recent decline in foreign capital importation into Nigeria. It means that we are not doing business. People that are able to bring business into our shores,
they are running off.
Are no longer bringing the business.
Yes, because there's skepticism, there's instability, there's inconsistent government policies, there is a lack of ease of doing business. You put all of this together.
There's a capital freeze and capital
flight.
Yes, and massive repatriation of funds, which is even unable to happen. Look at it.
Yes,
how much are we owing the airlines right now? It's now over $700 million.
Wow.
That is trapped airline funds in Nigeria. So if you want to run an airline in Nigeria, would you be willing to?
No.
Exactly the point. So you see, we need to stop lamenting when we know the real causes of our problems.
Akinola says, good evening, Oluwaseun and his crew. It seems as we deliberately intended to punish ourselves. The last time when they talked about palliative during Jonathan era, where are those buses and the rest? Poor man will never derive anything good from this subsidy removal. Rather than pains and agony they throw to them to grab. Let's take this commercial break and we'll return in a moment. Stay with us.
Ẹ̀yin ọmọ yìí, ó máa dá àkàrà nǹkan díẹ̀ sílẹ̀ fún Ramadan yìí. Ó yá kí ni kára.
Èso. Ewébẹ̀, ẹ má gbàgbé ìṣara lóore àwọn màmá o, 3 crowns milk.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ni, agolo mílìkì 3 crowns mẹ́ta.
Rárá o, 6.
Ó dáa. Torí kó jẹ́ màmá, á ra agolo mílìkì 3 crowns mẹ́jọ.
Ìṣúra aláìlẹ́gbẹ́ làwọn màmá. Torí náà, fẹ̀mí ìmoore hàn sí màmá pẹ̀lú 3 crowns milk lákòókò Ramadan yìí.
3 crowns milk, ìlera àwọn màmá, ayọ̀ ẹbí.
Eléyìí fún Yakubu, èyí fún Rasaki, fún Ahmed, fún Aisha, fún Khadija, fún.
Brahimo, ṣé o tún ti tó oúnjẹ ni? Kí ni gbogbo oúnjẹ yìí wà fún?
Wò ó Taofik, mo ti pinnu láti wọ inú oṣù Ramadan yìí lọ́nà ọ̀tun nípa pípín oúnjẹ sínú Peak yogurt drink pẹ̀lú àwọn ọ̀rẹ́ mi aláàwẹ̀.
Èrò tó dáa nìyẹn. Ìtọrẹ àánú dára gan-an ni.
Òdodo ọ̀rọ̀, ẹ gba ìtura lákọ̀tun nínú Ramadan yìí pẹ̀lú Peak yogurt drink tó ní àkọ̀tun wàrà màlúù nínú.
Peak, reach for your peak.
Èyíkéyìí ọkọ̀ tó bá ń wà. Ó nílò ààbò tó péye. Máa dágunlá jẹ́ kó jẹ́ mobile. Níbi Ibikíbi tó bá wà ló mú ojúlówó. Bóyá sọ pé. Jẹ́ kó jẹ́ mobile. Mobile ní ìṣúlẹ̀ ọ̀yọ́. Jẹ́ kó jẹ́ mobile. Lọ pẹ̀lú ojúlówó. Jẹ́ kó jẹ́ mobile.
In Ramadan, we are all connected. We all have the same empathy towards one another. We all feel the same rush to catch that moment of iftar and walk into the same special home-cooked meals. Every Ramadan, we are one when we fast, but not always when we break fast. This Ramadan, let's be one when sharing iftar. Sharing makes us one. Coca-Cola, real wonder.
ẹ̀yin ọmọ yìí ó máa dá àkàrà nǹkan díẹ̀ sílẹ̀ fún Ramadan yìí. ó yá kí ni kára.
èso ewébẹ̀ ẹ má gbàgbé ìṣara lóore àwọn màmá o 3 crowns milk.
bẹ́ẹ̀ ni agolo mílìkì 3 crowns mẹ́ta.
rárá o 6.
ó dáa torí kó jẹ́ màmá ara agolo mílìkì 3 crowns mẹ́jọ.
ìṣúra aláìlẹ́gbẹ́ làwọn màmá torí náà fẹ̀mí ìmoore hàn sí màmá pẹ̀lú 3 crowns milk lákòókò Ramadan yìí.
3 crowns milk ìlera àwọn màmá ayọ̀ ẹbí.
LifeMate Office Furniture Festival is here again.
Let's go.
Buy products worth 300,000 naira and above to get giveaways of up to 920,000 naira.
Oh yeah!
The more you purchase, the more you get. Woohoo! This offer lasts from March 10th to April 15th. Visit our showrooms or call 081 2000 6000 for more inquiries. LifeMate, your LifeMate forever. Terms and conditions apply.
This Ramadan, enjoy Golden Penny Semovita, made from premium wheat and fortified with vitamins and minerals. Easy to mold and swallow, that keeps you nourished while fasting. Ramadan Kareem from Golden Penny Semovita.
Iná mọ̀nàmọ́ná a máa fúnni ní ìmọ́lẹ̀ a sì máa mú ìdẹ̀rùn wá láti wá dènà ìjàmbá iná mọ̀nàmọ́ná. Ojúlówó wáyà tàbí kébù ló yẹ ká fi fa iná nínú ilé, lọ́fíìsì àti nínú ìlú. Pure Wires and Cables ní àwọn ilé-iṣẹ́ mọ̀nàmọ́ná àti àwọn agbaṣẹ́ṣe yàn láàyò. Ojúlówó ni, kì í bó lára, kò kì í jóná àbáàdì, kì í kán sínú, ó sì fi ni lọ́kàn balẹ̀. Ìdí nìyí tí Standard Organization of Nigeria fi fòǹtẹ̀tẹ̀ tí Nigeria Electrical Contractors náà fi dìbò fún. Bí copper cable ṣe wà ní aluminium cable ń bẹ nípele lówó tí kò gún pa. Pure Wires and Cables tó jẹ́ ọ̀kan lára àwọn ọmọ ẹgbẹ́ Kaman ló ṣe ojúlówó wires and cable jáde. Olú iléeṣẹ́ Pure Wires and Cables Limited wà ní Afrin's Compound, Fort Gate, number 122/132, Oṣòdì Apapa Expressway, Ìyànà Ìsọlọ̀ bus stop, Lagos. Ẹ̀rọ ìbánisọ̀rọ̀ wọn ní 080-803-03257. Pure Wires and Cables. Ìrọ̀rùn fi iná mọ̀nàmọ́ná.
Alejandra and Raphael's lives turn upside down when he crashes into her car.
It's only fair that he pays me for all the damage he's caused me.
But they fall head over heels when he gets a job at her firm to pay the huge bill.
A good vendor is the one who is capable of seducing, enamoring.
Telemundo presents a brand new romantic comedy, Until Money Do Us Part. Every night at 7 p.m. available on GoTV and DSTV. Stream anytime from the next day on Universal Plus.
Lásìkò Ramadan, a máa ń wà ní ìṣọ̀kan, a sì tún máa ń ní ìkáàánú ẹnìkejì láàrin ara wa. Gbogbo wa la máa ń fọkàn sí àsìkò ìṣínu kan náà, tá sì máa ń délé bá àkànṣe oúnjẹ bákan náà. Ní àsìkò Ramadan, ìkan náà ni wá tá bá ń gbààwẹ̀, ṣùgbọ́n kì í sábà rí bẹ́ẹ̀ tá bá ń ṣínu. Ní Ramadan yìí, ẹ jẹ́ kí a jẹ́ ọ̀kan ní àsìkò ìṣínu. Àjọpín máa ń fa ìṣọ̀kan. Coca-Cola, real wonder.
Do you know that you have the right to quality broadcasting? The National Broadcasting Commission says any person, group of persons, or organization aggrieved by the content of a broadcast or the conduct of a broadcast station may lodge a complaint to the station and all right to the Director General, National Broadcasting Commission, number 20, Ibrahim Taiwo Street, Asokoro, Abuja, or send a mail via info@nbc.gov.ng. Please ensure that your complaint includes name of the broadcast station, title of the program, date and time of broadcast, and essence of the complaint. Also, remember to include your name, address, telephone number, email, and append your signature. Note that your complaint must reach the NBC within 14 days of the queried broadcast. NBC, your right to quality broadcasting.
Easter is here again. Get whooping discounts when you buy furniture products worth 500,000 naira and above from LifeMate.
Oh my god.
The more you buy, the more discounts you get. Plus, you stand a chance to get amazing gifts. This offer lasts from April 8th to April 30th. Visit any of our showrooms or call 081 2000 6000 for more inquiries. Terms and conditions apply. LifeMate, your LifeMate forever.
You did dull yourself this afternoon. You did dull yourself this afternoon. You did dull yourself this afternoon. No allow any dulling for your life, oh. Enjoy that your break moment with 5 Alive Pulpy. Now correct enjoyment will go cool your body, come ginger and join. Make you use the enjoyment where they inside 5 Alive Pulpy take hold your side. It they available for different delicious flavors. 5 Alive Pulpy, filled with life.
lójoojúmọ́ ní oṣù ológo Ramadan yìí a máa ń dìde láti agbègbè ìtùnú wa láti jẹ́ ìpè Allah tó ń fún wa ní ìbùkún àìlópin. A máa ń fi ohun mímu jíjẹ àti ìgbáládùn ara sílẹ̀ nítorí àwọn àǹfààní èrè ọ̀run. Nítorí náà tí a bá péjọ pẹ̀lú àwọn ẹbí wa ní iftar ẹ jẹ́ kí a rántí láti pín àwọn ìtùnú àkókò yìí. Vitafoam ń kí yín kú ọdún Ramadan tí ó kún fún ìfẹ́ àti ìrẹ́pọ̀. Ramadan Kareem Vitafoam fún ìgbà ayé tó lárinrin àti ojúlówó.
This is what goodness tastes like. Golden caramel, creamy buttermint, and rich coffee. There's a Cadbury candy for every moment.
Introducing Cadbury Caramel Candy, Cadbury Coffee, and your favorite Cadbury Buttermint candies. Now there's lots more to share and enjoy.
Oh yeah, there's a Cadbury candy for every moment.
Splash FM 105.5.
All right, so we welcome you back. It's Splash 105.5 FM, your integrity station, and we're back on the beat. Olisa Agbakoba made some comment recently in the news. And Agbakoba is a Nigerian human rights activist, a maritime lawyer, and former president of Nigeria Bar Association. And he's saying that let us resolve the presidential election petition before the inauguration of those who have been elected. And he said we should decide it. And if we'll not be talking about pressure between these different people. Oluwaseun Abakoba, a former president of Nigerian Bar Association, says speedy dispensation of presidential election petitions is a strategy against having an interim government. The DSS on Wednesday said it had confirmed a plot by some key players to install an interim government as stop Bola Ahmed Tinubu from being inaugurated as president. Reacting to the statement issued on Thursday last week, Abakoba said the secret plans must be rejected by all Nigerians. Profiling the solution in a fresh statement on Monday, the senior advocate said there will be no need for an interim government if the petitions are heard and disposed of before May 29. The tension around the call for an interim government is that the presidential election petition may not conclude before the inauguration of a new president on May 29, 2023. Now, gentlemen, quickly, just in 1 minute, each of you, I've made my opinion known. Maybe I should just drop it here. It's not just about this particular election in the sense of this speech. My thought is that why haven't we been thinking along this line? Because anybody who becomes a governor or a president or House of Rep member or senator, and then the court deemed it fit that he was an interloper, will probably have spent our money, collected salaries, took time. And that's why we have off-cycle elections in Nigeria today because of this fraud. So why couldn't we have made a law, amend our constitution in such a way that we can conclude with all litigations before inauguration of a new government? Let me start with Tunde Olokoya.
I think it starts with how cumbersome we have made the process. It starts with it being cumbersome. From the elections itself to the tribunals. To start with, the elections. Why are we conducting all of those elections on the same day? Why is it so necessary to do so? Finance. We spent $600 million on this last one. That's a lot of money. So it means that there is a lot that can go wrong because of the sheer number of ballots that we have to deal with that day. And then our attention is everywhere, from president to senate to all over the place. That's number one. Number two, why do we need 3 different courts before things are final? When election petitions arise, we do tribunal, we go to court of appeal, we go to Supreme. Why is that? Why can't petitioners proceed straight to the Supreme Court and get it sorted? And the Supreme Court is the apex court of the land. Why are we not using Supreme Court for that purpose? Do we need more justices for the Supreme Court for them to be able to just get this done once and for all? Because at the end of the day, look at the number of man-hours, judges' hours that are used on these election petition tribunals. Number 3, Kenya has been able to achieve this within a short period of time. We know, but why? Only because electronic voting happened, was allowed as well. Who says we cannot do both simultaneously? In areas where electronic voting can be done, we do it there. In areas where it cannot be done, we do the traditional method, which could have an hybrid form of election. And it means that this tribunal or the litigations around the elections can be resorted within a short period of time. For example, in the US, I have known at least 3 presidential elections that they have had states recount their entire ballot. And all of this was still able to get concluded before January inauguration.
And so the man who's raising his hand and holding the Constitution or the Bible or whatever is having a clean mandate.
Clean mandate. That's the thing. But when we begin to make every process, that's the thing. We like making everything cumbersome. If it's not cumbersome in Nigeria, it's not sophisticated enough.
All right.
We so much enjoy, value in hardship. And that is where I want to start from. Because basically, if you look at it, like Tunde mentioned, on one side, I want to agree with Olisa Agbakoba that why can't we just do this, all of this?
Olisa was saying 7 days.
He was saying 7 days.
He said 7 days.
But then to think about the fact that we have 176,974 polling units. To gather the forensic of all of these polling units, to say you want to make a case, is going to be really hard to do that in 7 days. But another thing that we have to look at for is that, like Michael will always say, we are not forward-thinking people. We don't think ahead. Probably would not have even discussed all of this, if not that at some point some people were talking about, an interim government. So you find out that the DSS on their own side, I'm going to give them their own knock too. You come around and tell us that there are some people.
What are you supposed to do about it?
What am I supposed to do with that information?
Is it not your job?
Is it not your job? So DSS will just gather information, they gather intelligence and tell you that today, some people.
It's on you, gentlemen. I refuse to discuss that matter because I really do not know what I'm going to do.
That's why I started from that case.
How am I supposed to process that information?
What are you supposed to do with it?
What do I need the information for if you are not seeing the faces of those who were planning it?
And what is being done as a deterrent?
Away from that, we can sit down. Because I like the fact that she mentioned that it is not just about this election.
No.
Because whether we like it or not, if we now have a new president and the litigations are still going on, this guy will be distracted. And we have a lot of problems.
There's usually distraction for the first 6 months.
There is always distraction. So can we sit down now, even if we cannot, achieve that with this election, within the space of 4 years, can we now think about how we can do it? One, do we really need to change the time that we hold our election? Who says we must have the election February, March, and some months to,
Who says we can't do it June?
Who says we can't do it June? And then give the time for the number of litigations that we want to have. Who says we can't move straight to the Supreme Court? Who says there can be a rejigging of all of the judicial system to ensure that we don't have all of these backlogs?
All the questions you have asked now, majority of these questions are directed to the National Assembly.
To the National Assembly,
because
and that's where
it is their right. It is their job to amend the constitution.
That is where the analysis of Michael
answered.
will always come in, to talk about the fact that we don't elect people who really understand governance into power. So the kind of people that you will bring for House of Representative analysis, none of them will mention all of this.
But then
We were there when we
this
did
is this
debate.
question that is being asked. When we talk about this amendment, do you not know that the amount of lacuna we have in the system is beneficial to the politicians?
Okay.
So
how then will they?
That's fine.
So we're asking them to take cyanide.
The National Assembly over the last few years, the National Assembly has been spending 1 billion naira amending the constitution.
Yes.
Yeah.
So this is chops, not jobs. So chops for the boys. You understand it? So that is why out of almost about 600 elements in the constitution, that's why they would spend 4 years to amend just one.
Yes.
So that they can take 1 billion naira. Inflation. Yeah.
Yes.
So that they can, inflation can affect the money. That's one. Number two, you are talking about a system that you said it already, that they are profiting from the misgovernance or lack of governance that you have in this. And then two, which is very key for me, the senior advocate who was talking here, there are issues that should not even be going to election petition in the presidential election. You see, for instance, the three grounds on which the Labour Party particularly is going to this tribunal.
Yeah, pre-election
one of them is qualification. That should have been sorted out.
So it's going to waste the time of the Supreme Court.
So the question is, so you allow a child to write JAMB before realizing that this child is GS3.
15, no. You are 15
so you see, so should we have waited since June that these parties are chosen their candidates? Should we have waited till February before deciding whether they are qualified or not? So that's number one. Number two, we are talking about double nomination.
Yes.
These are things that we had known since. You see, so just assume that they are just going to the courts for one item. Maybe the courts would have been able to dispense with it in maybe 60 days or something.
It's the design of the system, like I've said.
So we agree that it is not an impossibility.
It's not an impossibility, but the present crop of people going to the National Assembly, you think that they know these things? People who are coming to microphone here, somebody who is going to the Senate, who is promising you electricity, who doesn't even know?
Legislative agenda.
Who doesn't even know? They used to.
Yes.
They used to.
They stopped it.
They have the element at the National Assembly.
Too much. They cannot handle it.
No, not that they can't handle it. The Senate President and the Speaker, they enjoy they enjoy it because they need their eardrums to vibrate,
to be tickled.
Yeah, to be tickled.
You have to tickle them. All right, so gentlemen, thank you. We're taking calls now. 809-155-1055. We're taking two issues because I want us to dispense with those two issues. So we agree that it's possible, but it seems that we are not thinking well enough to go through it. 809-155-1055. Akinola said, let us ask these people the subsidy they removed from AGO and DPK. That's kerosene and
kerosene, yeah.
Where are they?
No, but we're also not asking questions about what they have done with there was a project that started, was it 2020 or 2019, that they wanted to put high capacity buses in all the cities in Nigeria running on LP gas.
Okay.
And there was also the National Gas Project.
I know Tunde was excited about that project. And
yes, I was going to participate in it. But the whole thing seems just dead right now because they couldn't agree on either to use LP gas or CNG. Okay. Somebody's more interested in CNG than LP gas, and the whole thing just blew up in our faces.
Now,
that's it.
He said all the commodities will only rise unnecessarily due to this subsidy removal, and it wouldn't be a benefit for common man on the street. Let them put what's supposed to be in the standard form in shape instead of relying on bogus funds that won't give us positive impact. I don't know, Mr. Michael, government palliative is for the rice and elites. Let's ask government how COVID-19 palliative were shared. Nigeria is not yet matured enough to uplift subsidy removal. I greet you all. Thank you for calling. Let's see who is here. Oh, he's gone. Okay, 0809-155-1055. For the next 7 minutes, I would like to take your calls. 0809-155-1055, 0805-699-8678 and 0706-949-3000. I'm willing to take your calls now, so if you're there, let's have you push the call through. Let's see someone is there. Hello, good evening. Hello? Your radio is making so much noise. Hello? Okay, he's gone. 0809 155 1055, 0805 699 8678, and 0706 949 3000. The lines are open now. You have the microphone to yourself, so it's time for you to engage on some of these issues that we are raised this evening. So we raised issues around the subsidy removal, the palliatives. We raised issues around Oluwaseun's recommendation for us to end litigations before people are sworn into power or into office, if you like. So let's hear your thoughts here. Somebody's on the line. Hello.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, my name is Ghost Time. I'm calling from Monia.
Hey, Ghost Time. Let's do this quickly. 1 minute.
Okay. For me, the subsidy should not be removed because he's going to take the road. He's going to take the
Oh, there.
Yeah, I think the line went
off. So he said, his position is that the subsidy should not be removed because he feels it might make us poorer. Somebody's here. Let's see who is here. Hello. Hello, good evening. Oh, I think
lines
something is wrong with, something is wrong with these lines.
I'm not sure removal or non-removal is the debate here. That one is a done deal.
It's done. It's forgone already.
Hello.
Hello, good evening, Sean.
Good evening.
This is Olawuwo.
Hey, Mr. Alori, welcome. Let's have your thoughts.
When you heard about what the Minister of Humanitarian or whatever is saying, giving palliative to millions of Nigeria, poorest of the poorest, then you know the mindset of those who are in power. You are talking of giving palliative to poorest of the poorest. Are they the only one that the subsidy will affect? What was high, you and other in that studio? What will happen to all of us? In Nigeria, when the purchasing power of people are going down every day, what we can use 10,000 to buy in the last 6 years, you can't get it at 50,000 now. And someone is talking about giving people 7,000. Can that one even take the whole family for 2 or 3 days? When you want to talk about real balanced diet, and we have people calling themselves leaders, thinking in such shallow way, that's what affects this nation. Until we have leaders who think higher more than us, what they call leadership are those who can think more than others. Exceptional people. But when we have those who cannot think like the way I think in government, we will always get what we are getting now. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Let's see who is on this line. That's Olawuwo there. Hello, good evening. Hello, are you
good
there?
evening.
Hello, Oluwaseun.
Good evening. Yes.
Yes, Oluwaseun.
Hey, Oluwaseun, welcome.
Now, getting a grant from the World Bank or IMF, I don't know where they are getting it from. And they are the ones that want to dispense this money before they leave. For me, is that not corruption?
I don't know.